money and events form around our desires. That is why there should be no conflict of interest inside us. The more we learn complex movements in different areas of life, and the more we do them with real pleasure, the higher our awareness becomes of what can unfold in this world. Awareness enters action through the body.
How important is it that our thought forms, our mental plan, actually correspond to our physical actions? Is symbolic movement enough? Or if we mentally chopped everything into pieces, do we need to at least go and chop some cabbage? In other words, how closely should what we imagined match what we actually do?
We do have a buffer zone, and in that case, humor can save us. Similar physical actions can help too. If we had plans or a strong intention, and we were very categorical about it, a certain amount of energy is released. It is already looking for a physical outlet. Even if the original action did not happen, the body still needs a safe way to spend that charge. Otherwise, it remains inside as tension. If we do not realize that energy physically, different states appear, depending on our temperament and environment. They may look like depression, aggression, apathy, or other forms, but all of them carry a minus sign because they become destructive programs. The body feels the unused charge as pressure. So if we did not do something, and there is a lot of unrealized desire, ambition, or thought, sport can help. If there is a lot of creative energy that never came out, we release it physically. Go to the gym, shoot at a range, swing a sledgehammer, or chop wood. The point is not punishment. The point is to let the body burn through the charge that the mind has already raised. You can cut meat for steaks and cook it, or do a major cleaning in the yard or in the house. Those are already closer to constructive actions. The point is simple. This energy has to be redirected somewhere. Every thought has a kind of shelf life, like a pastry that is fresh for 24 or 18 hours. Then it begins to spoil. And where does it spoil? Inside us. We start feeling unpleasant states and do not understand why. We planned something, decided something, and the event field began connecting with physical reality, but we did not act. Then, the energy returns. It is as if somewhere we were expected, and because we did not show up, we pay the penalty with life energy. The person feels weaker without knowing where the strength went. It may be happening in another probable reality where our energy is gone, and here we simply feel that we have no strength. We become bored, worried, depressed, discouraged, or weak. The state seems random, but it often points to a decision or plan that was left hanging without a physical continuation. Maybe we did not go to the supermarket, did not rearrange the furniture, or did not watch the film we planned to watch. A condition was created, but we did not complete it. Then, we pay with missing energy and wonder why events do not come together.
So, if we do not create conditions for our thoughts and ambitions, we receive depression, apathy, and a destructive inner state that breaks the world picture held by the collective vision of people on Earth. Then, what is better to do? Should we give up ambitions, plans, or thoughts?
Here, everything is simple. If we speak about small motor actions, the actions of today, they are clearly visible in our mood. Today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow are directly connected with I thought it, I did it, I said it, I realized it, I wanted it, I fulfilled it. It is important not to exaggerate and not to diminish while staying internally ready for events to unfold in any way. This affects the nearest time, 2 or 3 hours, up to about 3 days. Ambitious things form more globally, and for them, we receive a long-term credit. Money that comes to us, and events that form around us are formed under our desires. That is why there should be no inner conflict of interests. If we say one thing and do another, or think one way and act another way, the system becomes unclear. Then, we have to update it inside. I wanted it that way, but now I choose differently, and I consciously bring the decision back into alignment. The energy that comes for forming events, from money all the way to circumstances, is very precisely tuned to events.
So, our conscious focus is given to stitch the gap between the mental plan and the physical one. Attention must help thought become a concrete movement in the body, instead of leaving it hanging only in the head.
I can give negative examples. They sound like this. Wanting can feel worse than pain, or if it is forbidden but I really want it, then maybe a little is allowed. This belongs to the same area because our foundation is to move into novelty, not to stay trapped in the old inner rule. Otherwise, the energy stays stuck, the inner movement weakens, and the connection with the superconscious becomes less available. Then, inside us, there is a kind of burned-out desert. This happens when we have certain values, but we violate them, adapt ourselves, do things we would not want others to do to us, and bend under the system because we are attached to stability. The inner depth becomes weaker. When a person plans to buy an expensive backpack and really enjoys the idea, the subconscious, connected with the superconscious, begins to work with inertia. The subconscious handles what works reflexively: digestion, metabolism, and automatic body processes. It does not argue with our concepts. It organizes the body around repeated impulses. The superconscious plans events so that awareness, feeling, and higher states can happen. States in which we feel happy, fulfilled, energetically light, and effective. These two levels, the subconscious and the superconscious, meet in the physical body. From its side, the subconscious forms reflexive patterns: driving a car, swimming, riding a bicycle, and the metabolic processes in the body. But all of this is directly connected with emotions, feelings, pleasure, happiness, or with inner conflict, because thoughts and actions do not come together. That means we always need to develop new reflexes. First, we bring something into reflex, and then we let go of that reflex because we have to make it more complex. In this way, we develop the superconscious. It is like small children working with fine motor skills, when the body learns and consciousness expands through the movement. Fine motor skill can be more powerful than calculating large numbers or memorizing poetry, because it builds neural connections globally. The more complex movements we learn with pleasure, the higher our awareness becomes of what can happen in this world. If you can write poems, dance, sing, use a computer, draw, drive a car, ride a bicycle, roller skate, swim, give a good massage, work with abstract things, and even perform in theater, then your access to global processes that the superconscious may want to pass through you becomes much higher. Each skill gives the body another channel for those larger processes to take form in action. The important part is not to turn these abilities into a fixed identity. Not identifying means this: if you are not cooking, you are not a cook. If you are not driving, you are not a driver. If you are not swimming, you are not a swimmer. You are simply a focus of attention. The role can be used, but it should not close around you as a permanent self-image. In this example, it is enough to feel, I am a woman. This gives potential energy, which goes into the superconscious and forms higher-level events. But when we identify ourselves with something and hold on to it all the time, we become like someone caught in a web. We cling to being a cook, an artist, a healer, a swimmer, a driver, a homeowner, a business owner, a person of a certain nationality, or a person with a certain passport. The stronger we hold those labels, the more they bind our attention and limit what can pass through us. And if we also bind ourselves to actions we once did for others, I gave flowers, I saved this person, I taught that person, I helped him open a business, then all of that becomes me. As a result, we have the minimum amount of energy, along with resentment and claims toward the people to whom we tied ourselves. The less we identify ourselves with all of this, the more of our energy can be used for action.
Насколько мы себя с этим не ассоциируем, у нас весь объем энергии может быть использован на действие.